Countries around the world got absolutely battered this week. In Halong, Vietnam, 38 people died last night after a massive tropical storm capsized a tourist boat, with the torrential rain and huge hailstones severely impacting the search for survivors. In Ajmer, India, people were seen literally getting swept away on the streets while shop owners and bystanders tried to pull them to safety after the region was hit with nearly 130% more rainfall so far in this year's monsoon season. Bucharest, Romania was hit with such an extreme storm on Thursday that it triggered code red and code orange alerts across 15 different counties. Local media describe the scope of these alerts as unparalleled in recent history. In Washington, D.C., today, torrential rain has caused floods and prompted water rescues. Over the weekend in Alberta, Canada, thunderstorms lit up the sky and flooded the streets, causing power cuts and traffic chaos. Just outside of Ankara in Turkey, floods got so bad that they burst through freaking apartment walls and swept away cars. And certain regions in South Korea this week were hit with the heaviest rainfall per hour in more than 120 years. At least a dozen people have died, thousands have been evacuated, landslides have destroyed villages, and thousands have become homeless after their houses were destroyed. All of that in less than a week. And I've probably missed a bunch. It's not normal, but it's the new normal. It should be illegal. How few people know about what this man has just done. After spending the last 21 years of his life building a miniature model of New York City, he hops on TikTok like it's nothing with no background, no mic, not even lighting, and casually drops that he's just carved nearly 1 million buildings by hand out of wood. He said he's finally completed all 5 boroughs, and the section that he's holding in this video is just 1 out of 350. He says he doesn't have it on display yet, but once it's laid out, it will be 50 feet long and 30 feet wide. That's just over half an NBA court. And if you break down the calculation of 1 million buildings, that's an average of 130 buildings a day, every day for 21 years straight. And this is probably alongside a full-time job. Bro needs way more recognition for this. So if you are a museum, an art gallery, or anything else, please hit my man up and put his mini NYC on display. It deserves it. Paranormal investigator Dan Rivera has just been found dead in his hotel room while he was on tour with the Annabelle doll as its primary caretaker. Now, this information is according to the organization hosting the doll's tour across America, and they posted online that Dan suddenly died while at an event with the doll this past weekend. Dispatch records show that firefighters and medics rushed to his hotel on Sunday night where they performed CPR, but the cause of death has not been disclosed. Dan was only 54 years old and was the lead investigator for the New England Society for Psychic Research. Annabelle will continue traveling throughout the US for the next few months. This is wild. Police have just found a woman from Russia living in a cave with her 2 kids in India. But strangely, they don't really have a clear picture on how they got there, who they really are, or how long they've been living in this cave. Reports say that authorities in India happened to notice some bright clothes outside a cave while on a routine patrol throughout a forest. When they decided to investigate, they found a 40-year-old Russian national along with her 2 daughters aged only 5 and 6. Police said it appeared that they were living in this cave, and when they told them it was dangerous because of landslides in the region, snakes, and other wild animals, the mother replied, "Animals and snakes are our friends. Humans are dangerous." Either way, they took her in for questioning, where she said that her name is Nina Kutina and claimed that for the last 15 years she's been living all over the world. Authorities said that they've managed to track down her husband, who is apparently an Israeli businessman who's currently in India, and they're now trying to persuade him to pay for them to be sent back to Russia. And according to the mother, this isn't the first time she's lived in a cave. In fact, she even said that one of her daughters was born in a cave in a different part of India, and that they're all happy, safe, and living healthy this way. And ironically, now that she's been taken out of a cave and put in a detention center waiting to be deported, she's complaining about how dirty it is and how there's not enough food. Assault in Las Vegas is about to skyrocket because Uno has officially been added as a table game at one of the casinos. In fact, Uno didn't just get added as a game. They opened an entire social club at the Palms Casino Resort and then filled it with branded stuff like pool tables, bowling alleys, bars, and even Uno-themed rooms. But the only thing I want to know is what game are they playing? Because I swear, if that dealer tells me I can't put a +2 on a +2, hands will be thrown. The question is this a good idea, or is it just gonna end badly? Donald Trump just crashed Chelsea's trophy lift. So last night was the final of the FIFA Club World Cup, where Chelsea beat PSG 3-0. And if that wasn't shocking enough, when it was time to hand the trophy to Captain Reece James, Infantino and Trump were supposed to give it over and walk off. Trump, however, doesn't. You could even see Cole Palmer at one point confused, saying, "What is he doing?" Trump ends up staying in the shot and celebrates like he's one of the boys. And so now, whenever Chelsea, or anyone for that matter, wants to look back at all the pictures, you got Trump right in the middle, having the time of his life. The Trump administration has just given the order to burn 500 tons of food aid instead of giving it out. And here's why. So according to a report by The Atlantic, the food aid, which are biscuits, were bought by USAID during the Biden administration for $800,000 and are enough to feed 1.5 million children for an entire week. Now, they were stored in a Dubai warehouse and were intended to go to children this year in Afghanistan and Pakistan. However, as we all know, in January, USAID was dismantled and Trump issued an executive order that halted almost all American foreign aid, meaning that the people who are currently in charge of this food can no longer move money or aid without approval. And they are now claiming that they sent multiple memos to the new administration, but they never got a response. Now, it seems too late. The food is supposedly set to expire today, and the order to burn it has been given. Ironically, at an additional cost of $130,000. To make matters worse, The Atlantic claimed that the biscuits were only a small fraction of the food that is still set to expire in other warehouses around the world, all of which have already been bought and paid for. Now, as of right now, there's been no response from officials, but of course, as we know more, I'll keep you guys updated. The Wall Street Journal has just published a never-seen-before letter allegedly between Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. And I don't think we've seen the president this angry in a while. Even before it was scheduled to go live, Trump personally reached out to the head of the Wall Street Journal, Rupert Murdoch, and insisted to him that this letter was fake, and if they go ahead with publishing, he will sue. But Rupert Murdoch is 94 years old and retired, so the story went ahead. The Journal claimed that they have reviewed documents on a small leather-bound album that Ghislaine Maxwell organized as a gift for Epstein's 50th birthday. In this book was compiled messages and letters from Epstein's friends and family, one of which they say is from Donald Trump and has his name and signature. Now, they didn't provide pictures of this supposed letter, but they described it as a hand drawing of a naked woman with text in the middle, styled as an imaginary conversation between Trump and Epstein, written in the third person. It goes, "There must be more to life than having everything." Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is. Nor will I, since I also know what it is. We have certain things in common, Jeffrey. Yes, we do, come to think of it. Enigmas never age. Have you noticed that? As a matter of fact, it was clear to me the last time I saw you. A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret. Now, Trump insists this letter is fake. His response to the Journal before it was published was, "This is not me, this is a fake thing, this is a fake Wall Street Journal story. I never wrote a picture in my life, I don't draw pictures of women, it's not my language, it's not my words." He continued after the story was published too, saying that he will now be suing the Wall Street Journal, News Corp, and Rupert Murdoch. To this, people's comments online were, "Please do it. That would force the opening of discovery to substantiate Trump's claims." JD Vance also questioned the letter's legitimacy, asking where this letter is and why wasn't it shown to them before it was published. Donald Trump famously said 9 years ago that his supporters are so loyal that he could stand in the middle of 5th Street,
shoot somebody, and I wouldn't lose any voters, okay?
And this Epstein situation may be one of his biggest tests yet, because only one of them can be telling the truth. So the question is, who do you think it is? America's latest idea to prevent school shootings is inspired by the war in Ukraine. You see, recently a tech company called Campus Guardian Angel demonstrated how their new drone-led first response would save lives. The idea is that 30 to 90 drones would be permanently stationed at a school, and unlike law enforcement who have to first arrive on the scene and then move through the building relatively slow to avoid casualties, the drones can instantly smash through windows, confront the shooter just 15 seconds after launch and are operated by the pilot stationed at the company's headquarters in Austin, Texas. They can even engage the shooter while waiting for law enforcement with sirens, a two-way speaker, pepper spray, and even projectiles. And if all fails, they say that the drones themselves can become non-lethal weapons by flying them straight into the shooter. But here is where things get crazy, because the company's CEO said that the inspiration came from watching how successful these drones have been against people with guns in the conflict in Ukraine. And listen, I get that that is well-meaning, but it's just so wild to think that there is a scenario where literal war tactics have a place at a school. And not just that, but 6 drones will cost the school $15,000 plus $4 a month per student. So if there's 2,000 students, that's an additional cost of $8,000 per month. But then again, you could also argue if these drones even saved one life, it would be worth every cent. But the question is, what do you think? Should these drones be rolled out ASAP nationwide, or is there a better solution? This crazy ass looking plane might be the future of flying, and they're saying it would make air travel more spacious, fuel efficient, and cheaper. The aviation company Nautilus released the latest visuals of their blended wing body design, and it looks pretty damn wild. Its unique shape would make the aircraft more aerodynamic than the traditional Boeing, use 20% less fuel, and cut operational costs in half. Not only that, but since it's not a narrow tube like today's planes, there's way more room inside for passengers and crew. And according to Nautilus, it would also be a much quieter flight for passengers as well due to the position of its engines. But there's always some drawbacks. Because of its shape, there's fewer window seats. And if you think about it, those who do get the window seat, imagine the roll because of how far away you are from the center of rotation. And also, because it doesn't have a traditional tail, people are concerned about the aircraft's stability and control. And there's also some concern of it passing the stringent safety regulations. But, you know, Boeing finds a way to sneak past them. I'm kidding. But other companies are also in a race to get this aircraft model off the ground. JetZero are on track to fly a demonstration flight by the year 2027. So, what do you think? Is this the future of flying, or not? The US has just sanctioned a United Nations official for calling for the prosecution of Israel in the International Criminal Court. Italian Francesca Albanese is a human rights lawyer and an independent UN investigator for human rights in Gaza, and she's made her criticisms of Israel very public. And in a report she published last month titled "The Economy of Genocide," she urged the International Criminal Court to prosecute executives at American companies for allegedly profiting from the war in Gaza. Now, in response to this, Marco Rubio tweeted last night saying that her campaign of political and economic warfare against the United States and Israel will no longer be tolerated, and previously accused her of unabashed anti-Semitism. In response, she has described the sanctions as mafia-style intimidation tactics. The question is, what do you think? Are these sanctions fair or not?